Okay, so my name's Scott. Basically, I want to talk to you guys today. Sorry. I want to talk about social media and the negative effect I believe that it has on people who use it, and more specifically, the people who use social media actively. For those of you who don't know what it is, I'm sure you all do. Well, like everyone here has a Facebook. It's basically like different websites that kind of allow us to stay in touch when I think we don't really need to be. When we see enough of certain people as it is, it's like now we can just do it on the internet. Also, it's just a bit too much. So my proposal is that everyone just kind of spend less time on social media, I guess, doing things that are more productive and less unhealthy, I'd say. The three main reasons that I believe that kind of negative effect on people who use it are, it makes socializing like a competitive environment. It distracts everyone who does it, and it has cheapened communication, and it's just made it different from what it used to be. The way it makes a social environment competitive is that it's kind of giving people standards by which we can compare what we're doing. The whole point is to go on and see what's going on in other people's lives. It would probably be better to just kind of make something out of your own, which is maybe like a bit pessimistic to say, but you could, I don't know, you could be doing whatever it is they're doing, and you don't need to know about it. Cyberbullying is another huge issue. All the time we hear about kids, maybe a homosexual kid or something, writing statuses that people may disagree with and write like offensive comments back towards. It's just a lot of like hurtful messages being spread in an environment where all of our peers can see it. It's not really good. And then the other thing about comparison and like this whole competition thing that's weird about it is that I think friends have kind of become a unit of measure, whereas before you could kind of see someone and just judge their character based off of how they made you feel. Now you can go on a website and say 1,000 friends, that guy, he's pretty cool. So the other thing is that it distracts all of us. I'm sure like probably during this somebody here has checked Instagram or like Facebook or Twitter or something, which is fine because that's what I think the problem is, that it's almost addicting, which is kind of weird, but it's the truth. And then so as I'm trying to figure out like how I can prove to people that we're doing this too much, I was sitting in study hall. It's something we have to do through the athletics program here, where we have to complete so many hours of work. So the point of this place is that we sit and do homework or studying or something productive, anything that can help us like just get better grades. There's 13 students in the study hall. I was there for an hour and 15 minutes, and all 13 of them checked Facebook at one point during that hour and 15 minutes. So in a place where you're supposed to be learning and educating yourself, it's even like getting in the way there. The third reason is the cheapening of communication. We can now kind of filter ourselves the way that people see us. You can put a lot of thought into what you want to say rather than getting a genuine feel from the person that you're talking to. We can choose like literally like the pictures that represent what we look like, and it's just kind of like a fake showing, I guess, because flaws in it, and that could be seen as a good thing, but at the same time, we're not being honest there. So recently, I wanted to see what would happen if I were to actually go with my proposal and see if it actually makes some sense out of what I'm trying to tell people to do. So I had a Facebook and I deleted it, and I think I've become more productive. I know there's no actual way to measure that, but I feel happier just kind of not knowing what is going on with everyone else. It allows me to kind of focus on what I want to be doing. And yeah, so I mean, I've just seen good results. But basically, the proposition, or what I want you guys and everyone to just kind of think about is slowing down the use of social media. It's okay because like it does kind of help us stay in touch with people who are important and we can't reach as easily, but at the same time it kind of makes this competitive friend environment. It distracts all of us, and it's taken conversation and changed it into something that seems worse than what it was before. Thanks.
Oh, 5:35.
All right, Scott, there's a little bit of a problem at the beginning because when you present the subject right at the beginning, it sounds almost like you're going to give us an informative speech. You need to state a proposition. Now, once you start getting into the speech, there's kind of an indirect statement of the proposition, but it shouldn't be hidden. And it comes right before the preview, which you did have, and I appreciated that. I thought that helped quite a bit. So that was fine. On the controversial issues, I think you need to demonstrate that there are consequences. You mentioned bullying, for instance. Give us an example of somebody who was bullied on Facebook or some problem that's occurred there so that we know that this matters. Or, for instance, when you mentioned distraction, you've only got personal examples here. How many people log off of Facebook and bail out on it and claim that their lives are better as a consequence? Anything that would suggest that there is, in fact, a recognition that this problem is something more than just your observation would be helpful. The strongest part of the speech is the organization. You do have some clear secondary points, and you signpost them well when you're going through the speech, and you make pretty good transitions between those points. So I thought that that was effective. The problem that I see is that almost all of your evidence is personal example and hypotheticals. And although the personal examples are interesting and the hypotheticals sound like they could be valid without any other information to back them up, it's basically, you know, like you're having a bull session and you're thinking of ideas, and it doesn't really sound particularly substantive. And so I think you need to do a little bit more research on social media. I know it's a field that's relatively new, but I have seen some material on this, and there are other people who are writing about some of the things that you're talking about, and they've got some good examples. So I think you needed to find those sorts of things. You sound a little bit bored sometimes when you're presenting. I know that you're just trying to be relaxed and casual and be yourself, but you need to have a little bit more energy sometimes. It just feels like you're getting through it. You're going through the motions instead of being committed to your point of view. I don't think you need to be waving your arms around and hollering at people, but I do think that you need to, project a little bit more energy and force while you're speaking. All right, thank you.